Well, Linda and I left Great Falls this morning. It's been a real tough 2 weeks, just tidying up loose ends, taking care of videos, shipments coming in the mail, things like that. You know, it's stuff you got to wait for. But we finally got everything all tied up, and we actually left this morning. We're heading through Idaho and down over into Oregon and down south, point south. But we wanted to show you where we ended up camping tonight. Looks pretty nice, yeah, the deep forest behind us.
Setting sun.
Setting sun. We're camped along the Lochsa River in Idaho. It's a beautiful river. But this is where we're really at. This is a gravel quarry. It's not a gravel quarry. It's what did you call this, Linda?
I called it the Highways Department stash.
Yeah, it's the Highway Department stash. But, you know, it's late in the evening, so we're not going to be bothering anybody, and they're not going to come in here. But it's better than a Walmart parking lot, don't you think? But it's on national forest land, so, you know.
So we're good.
We're good. Linda's got some rice going, and tonight we're having fresh ahi, rice, and some kind of vegetable. This is Idaho's beautiful Lochsa River that comes down off of Lolo Pass and winds its way down. When my kids were small, we made our first trip through here. They were probably 6 and 8 years old, something like that. And we stopped at a flat portion along the Lochsa. And I was standing out on a rock looking at the river and looking for fish or something. And my oldest daughter, unbeknownst to me, took a big rock and threw it into the water next to me and got me all wet. And I turned around and she was kind of scared, but she stood her ground. And I bent down and I picked up a big rock and threw it in the water next to her and got her wet. She laughed. Next thing I knew, Linda and my youngest daughter, Nikki, joined in. We had a battle. We all stood on a rock and we were throwing big rocks into the water in front of each other and getting each other all wet. It was fun. We had a great time. Anyways, I've loved this river ever since, the beautiful Lochsa River. Better make my way back up to the car. I left Linda up there. Had to come down here, thick bushes getting down here, calling out, "Hey bear," all the way. Grizzly bears, black bears, wolves, mountain lions. This area's got them all. There she is. Well, we've been driving hard all day, a long, tiring day, and we're on our way down to the Alvord Desert down in southeastern Oregon. But where are we tonight? Yep, Home Depot parking lot, Ontario, Oregon. One thing you want to do is, of course, ask. We went to the Walmart here in town and they had signs up that said no overnight parking. So I went inside here at the Home Depot and they said it'd be all right. Well, we're just getting up, getting ready to get underway. Hey, Linda brought up a point that I need to pass on, and maybe some of you guys have heard this before, but a lot of you folks that are newer to traveling on the road, maybe you haven't heard this yet. And the point is, when you get permission to park overnight at a Walmart or a Home Depot or a Sam's Club or anything like that, the key word here is park. It doesn't mean camp. Keep your camp chairs inside, don't sit outside. Keep your slides in, and you should even pull your stool in at night. You know, if you, or, you know, pull your steps up. You should be as unobtrusive as possible, because we've seen folks that they got their garbage cans out and their camp chairs out and everything else, and that's not what we're allowed to do here. Anyways, just be respectful. So I don't know where we're headed today. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, we're currently driving through BLM land, about 40 miles due west of Ontario, Oregon, on Highway 20. That's the little babies running along there. Get along, little doggy. But it's sagebrush and sand dunes and lots of wildlife. And we're just driving back in looking for a place to camp.
See that cow saying, "This is the perfect camp spot for you guys because there's lots of our cattle poop around and it's really dusty. Sure, you'll like it." I don't think so.
Yeah, when you see cattle like this and around a camping area, there's going to be a lot of flies too.
Flies. And they're usually curious. They'll come into your camp and stare at you.
So we're moving on.
Yep, just like them.
When you get to a situation like this, always go really slow and never get between the calf and the mama cow. If you do, that calf will try to get back to the mama cow and it'll run right in front of your car. So be very careful. Just slow down and go by them at a walk. That's all. They'll move off the road when they get a chance. There you go. Up ahead here is something interesting for you to see. I'm going to zoom in on it here in post. I'll zoom in on this hill. On the right, there's a fence line that runs right up the center of that hill. And on the right side, you can see that it's greener than it is on the left side. And that's because the cattle are on the right side. It's good for the grass. Well, I'm standing behind the trailer. It's a beautiful day, but there's a cold wind blowing and that makes it kind of uncomfortable. We just stopped to make coffee. Big, beautiful area here. Imagine what this is like at night with the stars in the sky and no lights or anything. We're just out exploring. I can tell you that the smell of the sagebrush is really wonderful. It smells wonderful out here. There is obsidian flakes. I wanted to show you this all over the ground here. This one is actually from Native Americans making tools, or this could be prehistoric. That's a flake off a big stone, and this is just another one here, flake off a big stone. This one here is an actual tool itself, and the way you know that is because it is worked on both sides, not just one side. So this was actually fashioned into, a knife or something like that at one time. this stuff is all over the ground here. Now you see this dull looking black rock here, or gray rock? Watch what happens when I break it open or break a piece off of it. If I can do this one-handed here. Look at the inside. That's obsidian. Obsidian is still used for surgical knives. It's the sharpest thing known to man. A thin flake of obsidian. This is what you use for corner posts when you don't have big enough timber. Got a corral out here. And over there would be a lineman's shack. Let's go take a look at that. Well, if you were a cowboy, a lucky one, then if you were out here riding fence line or herding cattle or doing something like that, this might be a place where you would stay. Go take a peek inside. Well, down there is a big pack rat nest, so I don't want to be stirring up anything in here. We got a hantavirus probably, who knows. 1970s paneling. Over here is where a wood stove would have gone, but the shack itself is really old. Some kind of critter lives down there. I think I'll leave him alone. Well, right now we're traveling through private land, and it looks just exactly the same as the public land. You really have to know where you are. You either have to have a good paper map, or what we're using right now is Earthmate, which is an app on my phone, and it's tied in by Bluetooth with my InReach Garmin GPS. Now, I featured this Garmin InReach in a previous video, and it's basically it's for sending an SOS. You can send text messages out via satellite, but it also has publiclands.org maps downloaded into it, or I downloaded them in, as well as other maps you can download in. And then, I don't know if you can see very well, but it's different shades. The purplish shade down here would be public land, and this is a WSA up here. And then you get these white areas like this where the road goes through, and it's private. So purple is public land, white is private, green is national forest. You gotta, just look at the log on here to see what's what. Well, we've been driving for 15 or 20 miles on this road, and whereas most of it is BLM or public land, thousands of acres of it, it doesn't do you any good if you can't get off the road. And there's been other roads that branch out to the side, but we haven't really seen anywhere to camp. And we're also looking for a place that is sheltered from the wind. That's not very pleasant, so it's got to have the right lay to the land. Now, you can't just pull off and make your own road, of course. You've got to stay on the traveled area. So sometimes there's campsites that have been in place for decades, but unless you find one, you're kind of out of luck. If we keep heading south, we'll eventually end up on the Alvord Desert in about another, 30 or 40 miles. We spend a lot of time on dirt roads, a lot of dust, and we don't get dust inside our trailer. We have a couple videos out on how to keep the dust out of your trailer. It's not just a matter of closing the windows and doors. That won't do it. You have to pressurize the inside. So if you're interested, check those 2 videos out. I'll put links down below.
And when you've gone through one closed gate, you're very likely going to find another one somewhere down the trail that you're going to have to get out the other side. It's best to bring somebody along to open and close these gates so you can just drive casually through. It's windy and cold out there. What would I do without her?
Well, that was funny. We just came past a Jeep going the other way, and the man stopped to chat. Nice man, but the first words that came out of his mouth were,
You sure you're not lost?
we told him, no, we're not lost. We're just out adventuring. Anyways, we've come about 30 miles of dirt road, and we've got 27 more miles of dirt before we hit the highway. It's been real interesting, though. We hope to find a place to camp, but there's nothing. It's too wide open and too windy. So we'll get out of here in a couple of hours and look for something else down the road. Well, we didn't end up too bad, didn't we?
No, not bad. It's okay.
Tell them a little bit about today's run.
It was a good day. Good day of about 50 miles on a dirt road. So, for miles and miles and miles, it was just us, some random cattle, sagebrush. It was beautiful.
We thought for sure with all the miles of road on public land that we'd find a place to camp, but we did not. There were no turnouts. There was roads that went off one direction or another direction.
I think they were for the cowboys, you know.
It was probably for all the ranching in the area. But gas is hard to find down here. So if you're going to go exploring, you better bring extra cans of gas. And we don't carry extra gas normally, so we have to be careful. As it is,
maybe we should.
no, where would we put it?
I don't know.
Anyhow, we didn't end up too bad. We'll stay here this evening and probably move on tomorrow. There's a whole herd of cows on the other side of the road, but we've got this side all to ourselves. Anyways, hope you guys liked it. See you around.